So, welcome to the Disenfranchised. Kirsty, Parris, how are you doing today?
I am doing incredibly well, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Good. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm looking forward to this conversation because for people that do listen in, I normally have a little bit of a pre recording conversation with the guests just to get to know them a little bit and understand where the story might be going. And yeah, I think me and Kirsty get on pretty well, so this could be a really fun one to listen to.
Yeah.
So yes, Kirsty, lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to start where I always start with everybody and find out. I'd like to find out, what was your first job?
I wanted to go to London and seek my fortune, and I ended up in a shipping company. This was the days before computers.
What what was it that appealed to you about that role?
The money.
Beyond the paperwork.
It was
Oh, the money,
the
yeah.
money. I was 17 years old and I was given four options of jobs. Never really had any work experience other than a Saturday job in the local greengrocer. So it was this. I was like, well, how do I choose? And I look back now. I was offered a job in an advertising agency,
Yeah,
and
okay.
now I look back and I'm like, oh, that should have gone down the advertising agency route. But no, I went with the one that was offering me the most money, and I
Yeah.
started work the following Monday.
I think that's fair enough. I mean, did you have any idea at all what you might want to do as you
Not a
grew
clue.
older? Like, yeah.
No, I was one of these people that I had no idea.
Could say, how long did you stick it out for then? Because I
Three
couldn't imagine
months.
that's a, yeah.
3 months, and but I made sure I'd got another job before I went. So yeah. So then the next job was to go and work at Christie's, the auctioneers. So
Okay.
and
That
had
sounds a bit more interesting.
had an amazing time there. Yeah. So yes, I made a better choice for myself.
Yeah. So, if you could say you learnt something from that first job, what would that thing that you learnt be?
Um, don't go just diving straight in for the thing because it's gives you the most, or perceived to give you the most amount of money. There's more to working than money. There's more to, you spend so many hours working. You need to have an element of joy
Yeah.
in what you do, and I certainly didn't as a shipping clerk. And
Yeah.
yeah, it
Did
wasn't
you
worth
know
the
that at the
money.
time though, this lesson, or was this
No,
something that
that's what
you've
I
now
learned.
post?
No, that's what I learned from it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So
Mm,
Christie's then, that must have been fun. What
that
sort
was.
of things were you doing there? Were you with the gavel at the front?
I was. I was.
Oh,
I was.
awesome.
No, no. Part of my job was to work in the auction. So yeah, but I got to meet lots of interesting people. Worked with members of the royal family. Got to
Oh,
meet
wow.
lots of famous people who some were amazing and others not so. So
Okay. What type of person is normally there at the auctions? Because I mean, we've all seen like bargain hunt and things like that, and there's
oh
always somebody with those glasses on, like you
yeah,
mentioned before. Peering over the top
yes,
with a
yeah,
chain around them.
yeah, yeah. You certainly have that. But then there was also just normal everyday people, art collectors, and then you'd have pop stars and film stars, and members of royal family coming in, and yeah, it was be quite a
Yeah.
mishmash of people, which was
Interesting.
great because then I learnt how to talk to people of all walks of life. Now, it took me until 15 years ago
Yeah.
to really kind of find my thing, which was about helping owner managed businesses. It was about, I've always been somebody who likes to help. That's just been, since I was a little girl. If someone's in trouble or is in difficulty or is feeling sad, I want to help. And I found a way to be able to do that in business.
Okay.
And that became my passion then. So that's when I became a business coach. And, after years of being in business, I actually thought, right, I'm going to support other business owners. Um, and loved it, absolutely loved that. And helping them, with their marketing strategy. And absolutely loved that too, because that appealed to the artistic side of me, whereas the business side is very much the systems and processes side. And so I've always been a mishmash of the two, and I found a way to bring the two together to help people.
So, how did you get to that point then, business consultant? Because going from auctioneer support to to teaching people how to run their business or supporting people in running their business. It's it's a big leap, right?
Well, I'm 57, so I've in my earlier years, I tried lots of different things. I went temping in London, which was a brilliant way to try different things, different roles, and I started kind of finding the things that I really thrived on doing. And I ended up working for a project management consultancy company. And this is just before my son was born, and loved it. And I was, the PA to the vice president of the company. And seeing that happened by chance because I started temping there, was showing that I could do the job. They were trying to recruit. They were trying to recruit for somebody who was a lot older than me for the position, but I got in there and showed I could do it, and they offered me the job.
Okay.
So it was like more stuff added to the toolkit. As I say, just throughout the years, I ended up working with my sister, and before that, I had a family business, which was training in project management, business systems analysis, and design. So I did those courses and learnt more skills, and would talk to businesses about having those skills themselves. So once again, it's the helping people improve, and learning what it is to run a business. So even though I was part of the family business, it was very important to me to start from the bottom and work my way up. So there's no nepotism. It was a case of, right, I'm not going to be a director of a company if I haven't earned the stripes to do it. So that's what I did. And just kind of progressed from there. And it was then working with my sister and my brother-in-law in their accountancy firm, and we were working at growing that and developing that into being something that's not a stereotypical accountancy practice. And they're certainly not. They're now in the top 100 of accountancy firms in the UK. But while I was doing that with them, I started coaching our clients and realizing, actually, this is my thing. This is it. This is my thing. So I left there and set up on my own, and that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, nice. So did it? You mentioned that you sort of part creativity, part structure. That's quite a weird, not weird. That's quite an odd combo. You don't often see it, and it's interesting. So I speak to various different business owners, and when I talk about my creative side, they then pigeonhole me into, okay, can't think about structure and being organized. It's all the ADHD traits that people go on about. But then when I realized how I control all of that, it is through very systemized structure and processes and things like that. And actually that makes you quite an organized person. So I just wondered, for you, did the creativity come first, or did the structure come first, or
I think I was born with both. My dad is very much he was one of the first data modelling managers in the UK back in the 70s, data processing manager, sorry. So, he was back in the days of when the computers filled a whole room and had the punch cards and stuff like that. But he was always a very systematic, had spreadsheets and stuff, and very organised guy. And my mum was the artist, and very artistic temperament, and would love painting and books and the beauty of things. And so I've grown up enmeshed in both of those, and I think that's why it was always difficult for me to find something that I wanted to do, and so to be able to help with the business processes, I started, one of my first clients was a marketing company that really focused on the foundations of marketing. So it's not about websites or podcasts or that. It's all the stuff you have to do beforehand to really enhance all of that stuff. And that's where I learned a whole load of stuff about marketing. So I was like flourishing with that, because it was, my God, I can do the creative thinking with the systemized thinking and structure and bring the two together, and love that.
Yeah, I think that's where the most success comes in marketing, when you actually have a combination of the two, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
if it's all fluff and creativity,
Oh, it can all look very
it's
pretty, but
nothing.
if
Yeah,
you're not getting it in front of the right audience, it means nothing.
yeah,
It just gets
exactly.
lost. And so I love to be able to think, right, okay, we've made this really eye-catching thing. How do we get it out there to market now? How do we get you seen?
Yeah.
Mm.
So with the creativity side and with your consultancy business that you created, what was the creative outlet for you? So obviously the systemized side of things is probably what people are buying into with you as a consultant, right? They want to know how other people have done it before, and you're shaking your heads. That's a no,
No,
right?
no, because funny enough, the thing that people really buy into is, yes, they know that you can get them sorted, but it was about giving them support and about them feeling supported. So it was far more an emotional thing. I think
Yeah,
was the major benefit, was for business owners not to feel so alone, so stressed out, to realise that everybody goes through the ups and downs. Everybody, don't believe all the hype you see online, where you think, oh my god, everyone's doing so well and it's just me, and you're suffering from imposter syndrome. You know, majority of people will put on the facade, but behind the scenes they're freaking out. Is my
yeah,
experience of 15 years of working with businesses. So I think to be able to talk to somebody that understands that and says, right, feel it, but let's work a way to get out of it. Let's have a plan, and they've got that ongoing support. And I think it's just to know that you're not on your own.
yeah. So did you have a business coach at all yourself?
No, I didn't, and but I got an awful lot of people that were my coach and my support. So my partner Steve, and if ever there was something that I would want to talk through from him, would help with on the business stuff, but the carrying the load of the emotional stuff, no, I didn't, and I wish I had.
Yeah. It's
Mm.
one of those things
Mm.
that within the business world or business owner world, everybody talks about that loneliness factor.
Mm.
Heavy is the crown, and all that kind of stuff. But in the general public, it doesn't really get sort of, people don't really understand or know that, do they? Until they get
No,
into it.
no,
And
and they don't want to admit it, Ed. They don't want to admit it because
yeah,
they
that's
think,
true.
oh, well, if you show that you're weak, then people aren't going to trust you, which is an absolute load of rubbish. In my experience, I have found if you show your vulnerability, obviously it depends who it is too, but if you can show that, people actually will trust that more,
Yeah,
and people buy into trusting. They buy into trust.
I agree definitely. And actually, if you in marketing, if you just put the shiny glossy brochure first, right, and that's
Mm.
the only thing people see, there's there's something wrong with it, because nothing's perfect, is it? And they'll look for it and go, if I can't find anything that's not perfect, it's probably
No,
too good to be true.
no,
And it takes away from that trust, doesn't it?
yeah, and I think we live in a world where people are just quick to condemn and quick to judge, and we feel that. So when you are out there in the business arena, or you're online, there is that moment of like, oh, okay, you're waiting for the trolls to come out, or you're waiting for someone to try and bring you down rather than support. And there's a
Mm,
difference between blowing smoke up people's backsides where it's not warranted, to truly supporting the people that need it.
yeah.
And I'm very much the latter.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it's just like you say, being there as support, listening, and understanding those
Definitely.
challenges.
But then having the know-how of and years of experience
Mm,
of different routes out, and understanding that, okay, if one route doesn't work, then we look elsewhere. we,
yeah,
we, we go elsewhere.
makes sense.
Mm.
So you did that for 15 years, you said.
Mm.
So you clearly enjoyed that as
I
a
did.
as a role.
Yes.
Um, and obviously we know that you've moved on now, and that you're with itseeze.
Mm.
Um, why make that change? You already have a business that I would assume was still successful to some
Yes.
degree because you've
Yeah.
been doing it 15 years. So
Yeah.
why move away from that?
Several reasons. It's tough being in business. It really is tough. And as we've just mentioned, I was on my own, totally on my own with it. And I struggled with that at times because
Which bits specifically?
Just having my moments. So where I'm supporting people that are having their imposter syndrome moment and their doubts, and they're kind of like, oh, am I doing the right thing here? I would have that for myself. I'm my biggest critic. And I think for me, that a couple of years ago I had personal stuff happen. Lost my dad, and I really struggled with that. So for 2 years, I was barely functioning as a human being, let alone as a business person. So when I was working with my clients, I was giving them everything that I'd got, but had nothing left for me. And I got to last year, and I thought, I can't carry on like this. I don't want to continue with this. But then it was that real frightening moment of like, well, what am I going to do? Because I love working with business owners. I love helping them. How am I going to do this? And then itseeze came along, but they were always there.
Okay, so elaborate on that a little bit more, because I know the story to some degree, but obviously our listeners who are listening to this won't know the kind of how you got to know itseeze and your partner Steve.
So when I decided to set up my coaching business, I needed a website, and saw online this smiley face of an itseeze chap called Mr. Steve Axtell, and connected with him. He would tell you that I stalked him on Facebook. It's all rumour. It's vicious lies. But we met up, and just to meet, because I was a business coach, website designer. It was like, one, I needed a website, but also it would be a good contact to have for my clients, for the marketing side. And we really hit it off, and he showed me what an itseeze website was all about, and I was like, fine, I've never had a website of my own, let's do it. And I did, and I fell in love with it. I mean I really fell in love with my website. And
In what sense? What aspect? Was it the visuals?
it was,
Because I think that's what a lot of people like, is like, wow, my website looks so pretty and nice and organised.
it was that. It was the fact that I could edit it myself, and I could do things and change things and add things and really truly make it my site. So the initial design, I absolutely was like blown away with and absolutely loved that. But then I wanted to put my spin on it, and I could do it, and do it so easily. I mean, if you can edit a Word document, you can edit on itseeze website. It really is that easy. And so I loved it. So then over the years, whenever I was working with my clients on their marketing, and we were doing website reviews, and if their website that they'd got was underperforming or was struggling, I would show them mine, and I would show them, and I'd demonstrate how easy it was to edit. And I sold so many websites for Mr. Axtell and others. It's just that kind of like, because I believed in the product, because I was using it, living it. It was like, look, I've got it. This is how easy it is. So, and then what would happen is that I would have some clients where they would just pay me to do bits on their website for them.
Oh, okay. So it turned into a bit of a money spinner as well for you.
It did. It became a bit of another income stream. So I had one of my clients where I was doing his blogs, every month for him. And so I'd just go online and do that and do his social media. He didn't have to think about it, and it was done. So
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little bit of extra income from a referral.
Yeah. Well, no, I never took a penny.
Okay.
Never took a penny from referring out the Etsy things, but yes, the extra came from where I could do the work. Yes.
So I actually agree with the referral thing. You should refer people that you think are good, not for the monetary value.
No, because then it becomes it's a sales transaction. It's rather than it's a referral. That's not a referral.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd sometimes sit there as a business owner and think, I'm missing out on some money here by not taking these brands up on it. But I just genuinely think when I'm helping, so I do a little bit of consulting in the franchising space, but when I do that, I'm doing it for the benefit of my client, not for the benefit of the suppliers. And so it doesn't matter if they want to try and pay me money or not. I'm going to refer them anyway if I think it's the right product or the right service for them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you just become a walking directory. You're not actually a referrer.
Yeah. So being able to edit your own website, did that make you feel like you've got a new skill and a new, like, I'm now more creative than before? Because I think I've kind of felt like that when I've taken up a little sort of extra task like that. And you go, oh, actually, I'm a website editor now.
Yeah.
But you're not really compared to someone who's delved into WordPress and messing around with all the widgets and stuff on that side.
I can do all of that stuff. I've done all of that stuff. So yes, I can, because it's yes, I have done WordPress. I'm not going to say anything more than that.
It's complicated. I can say it. It's complicated. It's so complicated.
It's just, I think I don't know whether it's just I'm a grumpy old woman, but I get really frustrated when people are being charged extortionate amounts for a WordPress site that is pretty much a free template.
Yeah. And
you're buying all the widgets and you're buying all of the things and I get frustrated. And it's not just WordPress; it's other things. It's I'm not a coder, so with itseeze websites are beautifully designed websites, and I would say to people they're beautifully designed, and I can help you work on the brief for it. But I'm not the designer. I'm not a qualified designer, a qualified coder. We have a team that does that, and the reason we have professionals do it is because it's not simple thing to do to work well, and at the end of the day we want things to work well, and I'm sure people are out there going to be screaming, I've got a WordPress website and they work well, and I'm sure they do. That's great, and if that works for you, happy days. But in my experience and seeing how other people have used other sites and things, I found itseeze's been the best one.
I'm actually a customer of itseeze as well, which
you may
or may not know. You didn't know that, no? Right? Okay. So the big differentiator for me. So I set up a Wix website to start off with, and you know what? It was fantastic. So easy to use. Really to design it how I wanted to, and it wasn't too stressful until I wanted to do something that wasn't within any of their templates. And it wasn't anything major. I just wanted to add a directory into there so that I could showcase brands that I was working with, and people could, use a search function to find them. There was no way to do it. So I thought, well, there must be somebody at Wix I can speak to about how I can do that. Absolutely nobody available, because they only interact with you by email. And that was at that point when I started looking around, and I found... I came across itseeze in the franchising space, and I was like, these guys might be able to help me because I can talk to a human being, and that's the biggest benefit for me, I think, is the actual people that you can talk to about your problem and challenge. Like with your when you're self-employed, your clients there, it's having that person that listens, understands your challenge, and knows the way around it, or what can be done to tweak and change it. And for you, it may not be you that's going to code and edit it yourself, but the team behind you can.
No, absolutely. And you're not just talking to a chatbot or anything else. It's that you are dealing with real people, and they're a great bunch of people down there who are all passionate about what they're doing. So they are so on it to help you. And especially with me as a new franchisee, and so I'm still learning the ropes of when do I go to them and ask them that, or how do I present something to them and everything. They're amazing. They've just been so good.
So we got a little bit sidetracked there.
Oh,
You're a
probably.
client of itseeze.
Yes.
Who are the? How did you become the franchisee then? So you met Steve. You became a client. Referred a lot of people to them.
We fell in love and we became a partnership. So yes, it's an itseeze love story. So thank you, itseeze. You found me the love of my life, as well as a really great website. Really appreciate both. And it got to the point where Steve was, he originally had the Northampton, Milton Keynes and Bedford franchise, and was just coming to the age because he's, a bit older, and he wanted to change direction of what he was doing. So he was looking to sell his franchise. So he sold part of it to his brother, and then there was the other part, which is the Northampton part. He said, well, why don't you do that? Because you can still help. You can still do all that you're doing, but in a different way. And it was like, yes, I can. So I took a good long look at it, went down to Torquay and met the team down there and spent a day with them to find out what it was all about, and asked lots of questions, and eat lots of sandwiches and cake, and and then so by the end of the day I knew absolutely this is what I wanted to do. So
how did you know? Because I guess you already had a deep insight into what it's like to be a franchisee, because you're with Steve, right?
Yeah.
So how did visiting them make the difference, or seal the deal, so to speak?
Well, even though Steve and I lived together, and and I've always seen how incredibly busy he is and diligent, and and how his customers all love him, I wasn't really, didn't get into how it all worked or what exactly he did, and because he'd be very much, I think people thought because I was a business coach that I'd be helping him, and he's like, no, that was his business, I had my business, and we very much kept the two as a separate thing. So to really, I was kind of blown away. I hadn't appreciated how much support you get from the franchise itself, and I just was oblivious to that, because I'd never sat down with Steve at his computer and said, right, okay, how does it work? What do you do? I just see him always out and about and doing stuff, or building site briefs, or taking phone calls. So I didn't know anything else.
What was the most surprising aspect of the support then for you?
They just want you to succeed. Everybody there is bending over backwards to make you a success. And that kind of comes, and it hasn't stopped since I've started. That there's always somebody back there thinking, how can we make this better for our franchisees? And I think that's phenomenal. I think it speaks volumes about the type of business that they've built with that. And it comes from the top down. This is, it's across every single member in there. There's no real feeling of hierarchy in there. It is very much a collaborative thing. People have their areas of responsibility, but they're a team and they're all in it. They all listen to each other. I mean, it really was quite astonishing. It was astonishing. Because I thought I was going to go down there and I'd be given a presentation. It'd be like, okay, this is how it works. This is what would be in the contract, that kind of thing. And it wasn't that vibe at all. It was very much about, right, this is what we need you to do for us for the minimum, but how can we help you do that? It wasn't like you're out there on your own and we're going to judge you. None of that.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good to hear, because I think that's the fear that a lot of people have when looking, or when they hear the word franchise. It's you just get given a logo and told off you.
Yeah, an instruction manual, and there you go. Yeah,
and that's it. But that's a completely different model to a well-run franchise.
Well, that was just the discovery day, so that wasn't the training. So yeah.
So before we come on to the training, did you look at other franchise brands as well as options?
No, I didn't need to. I knew enough people that were, well, one, I loved the product. It was like I absolutely loved my website. Um, I completely trust Steve, and
Yeah.
in all his years of being in business and his experience, and he said, and he'd gone to one of these franchise events, fairs, things, and that's how he found It's Easy. And it was just like a no brainer. It's like, why, it was like this was made for me to do this. So no, I didn't look elsewhere.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, so what you mentioned the training. So what was that like?
Went down to Torquay for a whole week. So it was a week of training, and they just take you through every aspect. I mean, it's an awful lot of information to take on board, but there's always the emphasis: don't worry. You're given so many different tools and access to training areas and support, and they're always at the end of the phone. So they don't expect you to kind of. It's not like you get an exam at the end of the week and say, right, now you've passed. It's more of a case of, right, we've run you through everything. Do you still want to go ahead?
Yeah.
Seriously, it really is more of that.
Okay.
So it's like, are you happy? Is there anything more you need from us? They can provide sales training, they provide the systems training, they provide all kinds of things, and then they even arm you with 1,000 leads to go away with. They've done the
Yeah.
work on that and said, right, we found these businesses on your territory. Here we go. It's like
Yeah.
they set you up to succeed, not to fail.
So I'm going to ask you a question,
Sure.
because I've spoken to other franchisees from other brands, and they have been given leads before at the front, and they turn into nothing a lot of the time. And sometimes I think that's understandable, because it's, a lot of those leads are built on trust, and then when it's switched over to somebody else who's not that person who set up the lead, it doesn't always come through. So what is the quality of those leads actually like from your perspective? Have you converted any of them into
I will be
clients?
completely honest with you. I've been doing this a month now, and I haven't had time to even touch those leads because I've had so many referrals coming through the door. I did a trade show and I've had business coming off the back of that. I haven't stopped. So seriously, I literally hit the ground running when I started, and I've not had a chance to even go there. So, and because I was very conscious that they'd given me these leads, and I said, look, I've got all these leads, and I'm not able. I haven't got the time to get to them at the moment. So the head office put together an email marketing campaign, and they sent an email out to all of those for me.
Nice.
So that they were doing something with them, whereas I didn't have the time. And
Yeah.
it's like, they did that. I don't, no extra cost. I'm not paying them to do that. It's like, we can get an email out to me. It's not a problem. What do you want it to be about? And I've got a special offer running. I said, make it about the special offer. It's little e-magnet. And then I've got the analytics, so I can see the people that have opened that email. So I've got them pinned down, ready for me to call, because they're the ones that have opened and read and stuff from this 1,000, this 1,000. And I couldn't have
Wow.
done that without the head office doing their bit.
That's going above and beyond, really. They don't
No.
need to be doing that. That's your job to be doing that.
No.
You've managed to sub that out to them really nicely, but
They offered,
yeah, it's amazing.
and that's what I mean. They give support. It's like they pay for your networking for the first year. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so they do so much. It's just like, I'm like, did not expect that.
When you
You
say pay for the networking, you
yeah,
mean
my so
to have a stand at
no.
a
I
show,
mean,
is that, or
if you want a BNI membership, and everyone that knows BNI knows how expensive that is, they will
yeah?
pay for the first year.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. They set you up to succeed, not to fail. So they're
Yeah.
doing everything in their power to make you succeed, to help you succeed. So it's really down to us as the franchisees to take advantage of that and really go for it.
Yeah. No, it's really
Why
nice.
wouldn't we?
It's good. And yeah. So how long are you into running the business now?
A month.
A month? Okay. So
A whole month. Yeah.
a lot of businesses in 1 month, they're still sort of scratching around for the first client, maybe.
No, I've done sign-ups. I've done new business. I've got signed up new clients, new websites, redesigns with existing clients, done training with clients. I haven't stopped, and I've done a trade show in all of that, and prospect meetings in 4 weeks. So yeah, it's been busy.
It's a bit of a busy one. Yeah. How are you finding it? Is it?
Oh God, I love it. I'm
That's
not
good.
kidding you. I am just having like the best time. I really am, and it's because I'm still able to help people and get the most out of their business and succeed. So it's like to be able to do that. I love that. I haven't lost that from not doing my coaching, and so all of the things that I would talk to any business owner about anyway. I've been doing that for 15 years. So this is like not new stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're not the boss though? Because that's a worry some people have when they start. They're thinking about starting a franchise. But it's not my thing. I've not built it from scratch. It's not mine. There's somebody else who's going to tell me I can't do this, I can do this, and you don't have the control. So yeah.
You have no. I absolutely feel like this is my own business. I don't feel that. So having gone from being completely on my own, I'm now still got my own business, but I've got the backup and support of a whole team of people, and not just the franchise. I'm talking about the other franchisees. It really is a collaborative thing, and it's like when I started and it got announced by head office, with training done, she's here kind of thing. I've had messages from other franchisees. I'm having one-to-ones with them. So they're like giving their advice. It's like, here's some tips, to help you, maybe try this because it's easy. They do have a conference, 1 or 2 times a year where they get all of the franchisees together. So that's part of the contract to all come together. But it's brilliant because we all talk about, it's finding out what's best practice, what's working for some people. So it's like to get ideas from. And when I went to that conference, before I'd even done my training, I learnt so much from just what the other franchisees were doing. Because everyone's different.
Yeah.
And it's finding that thing that works for you. So how I run my business, as long as I make my targets, which are far from unreasonable targets, the franchise let you crack on. You do what you want to do. If I manage to reach my target in the first week of the quarter, then I'll do what the hell I like for the rest of it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do that, and I certainly wouldn't do that. It's my business. So as long as I'm not doing something to damage itseaze's name or spot on, I can do what I want with it.
Nice. Do you feel like you could? So I'm just going to press on that a little bit more.
Sure.
But do you feel like you could impart change? So if you see an opportunity or something that's slightly outside of scope or slightly outside of the services, do you feel like you can make that change or do something slightly different? So innovate, I guess. Do you feel like you could innovate or change things within your business?
I suppose it would depend on what it is that you're kind of talking about. Can you give me an example of what you mean by that?
I don't know.
I think putting you on the spot there.
Yeah. So I think some people, when they're running a business, they like to do it for a feeling of it's my thing. It's something that I've got full control over. And actually, do you know what? What I want to do is take it in a slightly different direction. For whatever reason it might be. It might be actually we want to have more impact in the local community and specifically this group of people. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Or we want to develop a new. Maybe this is more. We want to develop a new product line. And being your own boss, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to work on whatever you want to work on, right? And so you can go out there and create this product or service you then start to offer. So I'm just wondering, is that something you are still able to do within?
I think I think it would depend. I haven't been here long enough to know for certain. My feeling is that if there are things that you would want to do that are outside of the normal scope of things, whatever normal is, they're open to discussion. So I think, and that's what I'm saying. It's a collaborative thing. So it's not about asking permission, but it'd be having a conversation about it and say, look, I'd really like to be able to do this or offer this. Is that an issue or is that a problem? What you can't do is, like, I do not market Andromeda, my old business. I don't have my website up anymore. But this is like how much I loved my website, because I got really attached to it, and I was really upset when I realised it's not going to be out there anymore. So they've given me access to it. It's on so it's not open for the public, but I can still go and look at it for 6 months. So that they're weaning me off my old website. I mean, how tragic is that? But that's how much I loved it. It was just like this, because that was my identity for 15 years, my business identity. So going back, so I can't actively say, right, okay, yes, I'm Andromeda. You can bleep that out. And market that's what I'm doing now, because this is what I'm doing now. But if a client was to say, could you give me some support with this? Could I buy an hour of your time or anything? The franchise is not going to be like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Where it becomes an issue is if you are just focusing on another business element rather than what we've bought to do, the franchise. Why are you doing it? You're not serious about it. And you go through a vetting process. You're when you apply for to be a franchisee, it's not a case of, well, I've applied and I'm going to vet you as the franchise. It's a two-way thing. They need to know that you're the right fit for their brand, and they won't have you if you're not.
And it's something that's not for everyone, and it's the reason I bring the question up, because I think if somebody wants to be that person that's developing products themselves all the time, maybe a franchise isn't the right avenue for
Absolutely.
you, right?
No.
I think what's important, for me, would be that they're open to suggestions, and actually you as the people that are on the ground who are seeing that there are opportunities out there developing, especially with the advent of AI changing the landscape so fast. I think it's important that actually they're open to listening, because they might not be able to see as much as you guys see in the local area, and so it needs to be that two-way conversation. But it's not for everyone, right? Like, if you want to have full control, it's not going to work, because the franchisor has to protect the brand, has to make sure that it's consistent throughout the network. They can't have one franchisee going off doing graphic design over there, and then the next one's going, we sell a slightly different version of the websites that we're creating, because it's
absolutely not
got some monster add on to it. It's got to be kind of within certain parameters, doesn't it? That are.
I think either you believe in you either believe in the product or you don't.
Yep.
And if you believe in it, then stick with that and do that. If there's other things that you want to do, obviously you can go and talk. But if it's in conflict with what with the websites, then why would you even want to do that?
It doesn't make sense, but trust me, there's people out there that do.
Oh no! I know. Oh, I know there are. But no, and I admit, because it was years ago, Steve said to me about buying the franchise of him when he had a bigger territory, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want that. I'm quite happy. I was really busy with doing Andromeda, and But I hadn't realised until I went down for that discovery day just how collaborative it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all franchises are like that, because I don't have the experience of that. But what I've loved about this is it very much is it's you're part of the family, the team. You know, they do things to go above and beyond to support, and I didn't expect that. I didn't realise that's what, you know, how good they were going to be. So
Nice.
yeah, so round of applause for head office, for the team back there.
Don't you give him a big head? You give him a big head.
Oh, don't
won't
worry,
you?
I'm going to give them enough grief over the years to come, so they'll be all right. So they've got to take the good bits while they've got it.
Oh, excellent. So, what's the future hold then? What do you want the future to look like for you as a franchisee with itseeze?
Um, I just want to carry on doing what I'm doing. You know, I've got to the age I'm going to be 58 this year, so I'm not looking to build, you know, this business with a whole team, which some franchise owners have done. So, you know, and so if people are going to this think it's just for a one-man band outfit, it's not. You know, there's other franchisees that have got a team of people working for them, and the franchise will train those people too. So if someone's saying they support that growth, but that's not for me. I'm happy just going out there, working with the business owners, meeting them, helping them, you know, have beautiful websites and get seen and be successful. So
Awesome. It's good to hear. It's good. So I've got 3 more questions, and then we're pretty much done. I can let you go. So the first one is, I'd love to find out what's been the funniest, weirdest, or strangest story from your career.
Oh, you when you said that, I thought, oh my God, there's so many things, and there's quite a few that I would not disclose because it's like, no, I'm just not going to know that. Oh, I don't know. There's just so many, Ed. I think one of them was obviously when I was working at Kirsty's, and at the time there was a very, very famous pop star, and I'm not going to name his name. But
we're narrowing it down. Him in the 80s,
in the 80s, pop star who'd married well, it was just before he married his now model wife.
Okay.
And I was actually at the desk where they do the registrations for the paddles. So where you have to go and give your bank details and sign up and properly register to bid. So, you know, not anyone can just say, give me a paddle and I'll put a bid up. You know, there's a whole process to go through. And this pop star came swanning in. Okay. Like he was just like royalty. But even the royalty didn't behave like that. But he came swanning in, and when he was asked for his bank details, he was like, do you know who I am? To this woman. And this woman on the desk was part of a foreign royal family that was working there, and she didn't have a clue who he was. And you know, she just said to him, quite frankly, sir, I don't give a damn who you are unless you've got your bank details. And he went bright red, shut down. It was like, so yeah, that was one of my funniest moments, and it was just like,
oh, I love it.
Because I can't bear rude people. I can't bear that arrogance and that rudeness.
No need for it, is there?
No. And she really didn't have a clue who he was. And at that time in the 80s, he was a megastar. So yeah.
Excellent. I love that.
Yeah, he got put in his box.
Brilliant. I like those sorts of stories. I'm going to share one with you after we finish recording around that as well. But next question is, what's been your proudest or most inspiring moment from your career?
I've had so many, and they've been when I've worked with a client, any of my clients in the last 15 years, and I've seen them regain passion and excitement in what they do.
Yeah.
And to know that I was part of helping that happen, helping them unlock that they're the moments for me. And I've always said I'm never going to be mega rich because I give too much away for free because I like to give and help. But they're the moments where I'm like, yeah, I did good there because I helped that person see their potential and see their business potential, because it always comes back to the individuals. The business will only do well if the people behind it are doing well. So to be able to be part of that is great. And ironically, one of the clients that I had, who was one of my clients who I'd convinced to get an itseeze website, which she did, and we spoke last week. She's really excited that I'm doing this now, and we've just worked on doing a redesign of her website yesterday. So she was like, she said, and it was great because she said, I wouldn't trust anybody other than itseeze and you. So I'm like,
win, yeah. Those relationships pay off in the long run, don't they?
Absolutely. So but it's those moments because she's been so successful. So when you've seen people thinking I can't do it, and then they become a success, then I'm like, yeah. I helped that happen. So yes, I'd say that's it for me.
Awesome. And final question then from me, and that's if you're sitting in front of somebody who's potentially thinking about investing in a franchise, whether it's an itseeze franchise or any other, and you're only allowed to give them one piece of advice, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would say really do the research. Write down a whole load of questions. If you've got any questions, write them down to go through. If you've got any concerns, don't be afraid to ask. If you disagree with something, don't be afraid to say. And I think it's far better to get all of that out up front before you make a decision to commit.
Yeah.
Because there's no point going into something if you kind of got a little niggle or a little concern or a little doubt about anything. Or if you just quite frankly disagree with something, say up front, because depending on the franchise, you don't know how they might respond. They might be like, well, actually, we're prepared to negotiate on something. Or we can be flexible on that. You don't know if you don't speak up. They're not mind readers. So
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's your business coaching coming out there.
No, absolutely.
Draw out all the challenges, all the niggles, and get it all out in the open and find a resolution.
Absolutely.
And that resolution may be yes, it may be no, but at least you know with clarity what it is.
Absolutely. And then you're making an informed decision about taking those next steps. So yes, that would be my advice to anybody looking at it, and just for me, I'm always very much about somebody do what you enjoy doing, because otherwise it becomes a chore. So when you take on a franchise, is it really what you want to be doing? Is it going to bring you joy?
It's not being a shipping clerk.
Do not be a shipping. Well, they wouldn't have ledgers like that now. It would all be computerized. But these were like massive ledgers. See, I'm traumatized, PTSD from that.
You was only there for 3 months.
I was there 3 months, and it was just before all my friends went on to the summer holidays as well. And I'm like, so they're all on holiday, and I'm having to travel to London on the train to this.
Oh dear. It doesn't sound like fun. It's not something I'd be doing, but look, no. Kirsty, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story welcome. And experiences with us, and have a good one.
Will do. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.